Hi everybody, welcome to the channel. If you're new here, my name's Paul Reed. I'm a professional photographer. My main love is monochrome photography. I do love colour and I do put colour images on here sometimes, but in the main it's monochrome photography. That is my real passion. You may remember a couple of weeks ago that I did some street photography in Edinburgh and I showed some street portraits there as well. I love doing street portraits. I love that spontaneous, thing of street photography. It's just an amazing thing to do a street portrait of somebody that you've never met before. There's just no time really to, get wrapped up in things. It's really living in the moment whenever you take those street portraits. If you've not done street portraits before, I would really advise that you give it a go, because it's a real buzz and you make people's day whenever you do street portraits. This worry that we get whenever we're approaching people, it's so unlikely that somebody's going to say no. Most of the time they say yes, and if they say no, they say no. It's just as much their loss as it is yours, because they could have had some nice portraits of themselves. So I took a portrait of a couple, and this couple just had a look to them. I do gravitate towards people who have either a timeless look or from a time gone by, and this couple just seemed to have just some kind of timelessness to them, where you were thinking, hang on a second, was this taken yesterday, or was it taken 30 years ago, 40 years ago? And I just love that about monochrome photography, is its timeless nature. And I love taking street portraits of people who maybe just look like they're not even from this era. So I posted this image on Instagram, and I hadn't got their details on the day. I'd given them my Instagram account and told them what it was, but that was about it. And I really had wished that I'd got the details, because what I actually wanted to do was just have a little bit longer with them, just maybe spend 15 or 20 minutes taking some more pictures of them. But at the time, whenever you're doing a street portrait, you really just feel like you don't want to take somebody's time up. So I put it out there, and I put the photograph on Instagram, and then put on there, look, pretty much, I'd love you to get in touch if this is, portrait of you. And they did, and I arranged for the next week for me just to go back, and they lived there in Edinburgh, so I went back and I did a little shoot of them. There's a cinema, like an old cinema there, which I just love the look of, and I thought, right, I'm going to just take a few pictures there, and here's some of the images with the Leica Q2 Monochrom.
Blue dude, blue moon, kinda mysterious, shaded with someone I'm not really into. Do you need to fix it? Talking bullshit. It's hard to see you when your eyes look dull.
It was way too dark in there to shoot with a lot of cameras, but the Q2 Monochrom just always hits the mark in those dark areas. It was a dark day as well, so even the shots that I'd done outside, it was dark. It was really dark, and really, it's just difficult sometimes to shoot with other cameras in that sort of lighting. I had the bright idea at the time that I was going to have a little bit of an experiment and try a couple of different colour films, which I really was always wanting to try, and I just never seemed to feel the opportunity to use those two types of film. I used my trusty Canon T90, which was a camera that I had when I was, you know, very young, and I just loved this camera at the time. It was just such a beast, and it still is now, and I just love this camera. It's pretty noisy because it's got a motor drive in there. It's a manual focus camera, but you can pick these up, you know, pretty cheap now, and if you get a good one, then it's just a great camera. I really love this. Obviously this isn't something which I would take around really to do street photography. I would use the Leica M6 for that. But you know, if you've got a shoot that you're doing, something like this that's really substantial and, you know, got a nice grip on it and everything, is just great. I also like having something a little bit louder whenever you're doing pictures of people sometimes. So what I find is that sometimes with the Q2 Monochrom is you'll take a picture or two, and the people that are getting their photograph taken don't even know the photograph's been taken because they can't hear a shutter or anything. They can't hear any sound come from the camera. Believe you me, they hear this a mile away. So the first of the films which I had never tried, and you might think, I can't believe you've never tried that film, was Cinestill 800T. And I just really wanted kind of this thing of it being like just a scene from a movie of them there in the cinema. So I didn't take many shots because it was just so dark in this, and even at 800 ISO my shutter speed was so slow on these images, and I developed the film myself as well. I've never developed colour film myself before, and I developed that at home. I scanned them in myself, and really all as I wanted out of that, you know, that shoot was a couple of colour images. There is camera shake there, but I learnt my lesson from that. You know, if I was doing anything with film indoors in future, I'd have to light it in some way. But I'm still pleased the way these turned out, and it has taught me something. Now the other colour film that I used, and I wasn't able to use this one indoors, but it's called Flic Film Chrome 100. This is an incredible film. What this film is, it's re-spooled Kodak Ektachrome 100D positive film, and this stuff is some really nice film. Shooting with this film again was an experiment. It was an experiment because I am wanting to shoot with this film in the future, and I am wanting to shoot with Cinestill in the future, and not just, you know, with the Q2 Monochrom, but definitely have these films as part of the shoots which I'm doing. So if I want colour photography, that this would be kind of where I would be going with it. SJF Photographic were kind enough to send me one of those films, you know, for free, just to try out, just to test and let you guys know what I think of it. And I probably maybe didn't do what they thought I was going to do with that film, because what I actually did was I actually cross-processed it myself. The results were just as I'd imagined that they were going to be. If you've ever seen a film called Buffalo 66, then it's pretty much the same film, and also, you know, that was cross-processed as well for the movie of Buffalo 66, and I've always loved the look of that movie. It's one of my favourite movies of all time. I just love the look of it, and that was really why I wanted to shoot this couple with that film. Again, it's 100 speed, and the day was so dull, you know, so again there's some camera shake on here. I've learnt my lesson, you know, that won't happen again, but I am going to shoot with this film again, and I'm definitely going to go back to SJF Photographic, and you know, I'm going to order some more because I really love that look, and I love the colours and everything about it, and I've got some projects that I'm definitely going to shoot with that. I'm going to leave a link in the description for SJF Photographic, because they were kind enough to send me that film and let me use it and try it out for free. I thought it's only right for me just to put a link in there, and maybe you can go and get one of those Flic films from them and try it out yourself. I really do advise cross-processing it though. Don't forget everybody that I do an online mentorship program, and I'm just meeting so many amazing photographers out there. It's just such a privilege to be able to guide photographers along the way on their journey with photography, especially monochrome photography. If you want me to mentor you, then I'll leave a link in the description and you can get in touch with me about that. Thanks again for watching everybody. I really do appreciate it. I'll see you next time.